Hi, everybody. So I want to take a few minutes and go over today's assignment. It is the slope and y-intercept and writing equations Desmos activity. Want to remind you of a few things. You have your notes that are linked on the agenda. You also have plenty of activities that we did. And now you'll have this video. Linear equations in slope-intercept form, as you remember from class, because we've said it 18 million times, always starts y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope, b is our y-intercept. Remember, the y-intercept or the b is usually our initial or starting value. Our slope is our per. It's the item that's going to happen over and over again in the situation. You're going to need that information for today's assignment. You're also going to need to remember a lot of the slides are going to need to be written in this form. So let's move forward. Whoops. All right, just a quick check-in. Move the slider to show me how you're feeling today about your life. If you want to explain yourself, type in here. Question 1, very easy. This one only wants you to find the slope. If you remember, slope is which part of this equation? It's right here. This letter here, it's always with the x. So what number is with the x? Yep, it's 5/4. So you're going to type 5/4, hit submit. On this slide, looks like the same equation because it is, but now they just want you identifying the y-intercept. What I want you to remember on this is while the equation says y equals mx plus b, your b in the equation is positive. Take a look at what the b is in this situation right here. Pay attention because that's going to impact your y-intercept. Now, question 3. Here's where we talked about on the first slide where we have an initial value and we have our per, our thing that's going to repeat. Well, the cost for the group is $15 for shoe rental plus $4 per game. Which one is your per? Right? Guess what? Your per goes with the slope. Your y-intercept, that's the initial starting value. That's the shoe rental. So you're going to put both of those in this box. You'll see if you get it correct, you'll see a little check mark. Then you're going to write your equation. Don't forget, you always want your equations. Let me get back here. To start off, y equals mx, plus b. And then you'll go back and you'll replace your m with your slope. You'll replace your b with your y-intercept and you'll hit submit. So hopefully you figured out that the slope is 4, the y-intercept is 15. I get the green check mark. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to change that to 15. I'm going to change that to 4. I'm going to hit submit and I get a nice little message. You'll notice all these slides are self-checking, so you'll know if you're right. And if you're not, fix it. Same thing as the first slide here. Find the slope of a linear function. All you need to do is find the slope on this slide. But don't get confused by the fact that the slope here doesn't have a number. It does. How many x's do you see right here? Well, there's 1, except that it's negative. So what is your slope? Yep, -1. Here, y-intercept, again, pay attention. This one I want to talk about because it can be very tricky. An airplane starts its descent. Descent means going down. So it's going to start going down. It starts at 30,000 feet. And then it goes down at 2,000 feet per second. So since it's going down, what does that make our 2,000? Yep, it's going to make our 2,000 negative. Which one is our per? Well, it's right here. So there's your m. That means that this has to be what? Yep, that's going to have to be your b. So you're going to plug those in here. You're going to write your equation here and submit. Don't forget, your equation should always start y equals mx plus b. And don't forget that descent, the per, is going to be negative. Make it negative here, make it negative here. This activity, or this question, savings account starting with $150. Remember, your y-intercept is your initial value. Well, it's initially starting with how much? He's going to save how much? Well, $20 each week moving his neighbor's lawn. They're messing with you here. They took away the per and replaced it with what word? A lot of you figured out earlier this week that it's the word each. There's your per. Now, when you get here, don't forget first, y equals mx plus b. In class, when we did this, we started out, the very first thing we did, if you remember, we drew a straight line down our graph for our y-axis. We did that because the y-intercept, or the b, is where the blue line and the red line are going to meet. Well, they meet right there. That's going to be your b. Now, to find your slope, we need a what and a what, just like what we've been doing over and over again in class. Any 2 points on the line. Yesterday's assignment shows you it doesn't matter which triangle you make, big or small, any 2 points on the line. I'm going to go here to here. So I'm going to rise. I'm going to run. Notice my line starts here and goes up, so it's going to be increasing or positive. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got a positive 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Positive 6. So my slope is 4 over 6. But what I need to be careful about is that can be simplified. If you open your calculator and you type 4 over 6 in, it's going to give you this decimal. But remember, if you hit that circle button, my slope is actually going to be 2 over 3. So now I'm going to replace the m with the 2/3. I'm going to replace the b with the -1. And since our b is negative, what does that mean we can do with the plus? Yeah, take it out. All right, same idea here. It might be a good idea to follow the same strategy. Draw your straight line going down so you can see. I just totally made that real janky. I apologize. Draw your straight line going down so you can see where they cross. This time they cross right here at number 7. So the B is which letter? Yep, it's our y-intercept, so we're going to put a 7 there. Now, my line starts on the left, right here. And what do you notice it does? Well, now it's going down. So my rise and my run, or my triangle, is going to go down. So I'm going to pick these 2 dots here. Because I went down 1, 2. Because I went down, it's going to be a -2. I went over 1. So my slope should be -2 over 1. And if you need to check, when I plug it in, -2 divided by 1 or -2 over 1 is the same thing as -2. So there's my slope. There's my y-intercept. Plug your equation in. These are when it can get a little bit tricky for some of you. In a table, slope is the per, or the rate of change. But what you have to be careful about is it's the change in y over the change in x. So what were the y's changing by? Well, 16 plus what is 21? Well, they were changing by plus 5. What were the x's changing by? 0, 2, 4. Well, they were plus 2. So my rise over run is going to be 5 over 2. That's going to be my slope. Then, because the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis, the x value is always 0. Here's my 0. That means this number with it, because it's the value of the y where x equals 0, is my b. So there's my slope. There's my b. I'm going to write my equation. Now, same thing. Determine the cell phone or the slope. Well, her cell phone charges her $15 for each additional gigabyte plus a flat fee of $25. They don't give you the per, but instead they give you the word each. That's your per. So 15, 25, it'll tell you if you're right. Here's where it can get a tiny bit tricky when we're finding slope and y-intercept. Of course, we're going to start off, if you remember, to find our slope, it's the y change over the x change. And in this situation, my y's 10 to 16, 16 to 22, 22 to 28, they are going plus 6. My x's 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, they are plus 2. So if I want to come back up here and fill this in some more, my change in y is 6 over 2. That can be simplified. You can put it in the calculator or this basic division problem. 6 divided by 2 is going to be 3. There's our slope. Now, we need a 0. We need an x equals 0 in this table, but there isn't one. So we have to ask, where would it be? Well, 8 to 6, 6 to 4, 4 to 2. The next one would take me to 0. This is what I need. So what number is going to be here? Well, if I'm adding 6 going this way, what would I do to get this number? Can't add, so I would subtract. So 10 minus 6, yep, is 4. So there is my B. Plug those in. You should get it right. This one might be a tiny bit more involved. You have 4 lines. You have the black dots, you have the red dots, you have the blue dots, and you have the orange dots. It is probably going to be helpful for a lot of you to use the sketch tool and the line tool and actually draw your lines on your graph. So this one, if I connect them through, would look like this. Now, the black dots, I need a rise and a run, or a y-intercept first. Count your step, find out where it crosses. When you put the equation correctly, because remember, they all need to say y equals mx plus b, it'll graph the line for you if you get it right. You'll do that for all 4 lines. Connect your dots on all 4 lines. That one's a little off, but you'll get the hang of it. And lastly, last slide, just tell me, how well did you understand today's assignment? How do you feel about this content? We have a test next week. If the video was helpful or if you need more help with something, tell me right here. Nothing to submit. I will see you in class.